access from the alley. There's 3 residential units here. They get access from So they are making it so that theoretically all the residential units can access. The business units have theoretically been on contact and said they're going to be either closed or they're not.
Yeah, and they have no objection.
I have a question. This Senior Community Center rents the building to Wellspring Church on Sunday, and you coordinate with them.
Right, yeah, it's not going to be blocked. You can get in from...
It's not going to be blocked.
From
You can get in
railroad.
from railroad.
Okay, Maury?
Yeah.
I just would defer this to Mike. What about emergency vehicle access? Do they have to go all the way to 67 to do something if something comes up on Union? In that area, Union,
Yes.
the only way to get Union, go to 67, come back on Railroad, go on Union.
Right. Yes.
Correct.
So that's for fire and police, unless they're able to come through.
Well, they're going to have to leave, just like, it was a big issue last year in the car show, when the car show became much more successful than not that it had ever not been successful, but it was way more successful last year. So one of the things that the fire chief, acting in his capacity as fire marshal, said, that the lane has to be kept open. Same thing will have to happen here. They won't be able to block the full streets. They'll have to leave it open, just like you guys did with the merchants last year, where you had to have the one lane. And if you get that many vendors, then they all have to be on one side of the road.
They're on either one side or the other side of the street.
And it's got to be a pretty big space because, as the chief pointed out, fire trucks are not little nimble vehicles that can swerve back and forth.
Definitely.
Mr. Miller?
Actually, this is almost the same layout as Americana was a few years back.
Pretty close.
Pretty close.
Similar.
And it's related.
Except it stays away from the residential unit where the people got upset.
Yeah, they went down Front Street the other direction.
Right.
I would still advise you to have conversations with those folks because they're not going to be happy to not be able to come up Pikes Peak, even though they can still get to their homes. I just, you know.
Okay, I can see this passing if, the way I'm reading my counsel on that, if there's no city involvement in it. If you put city involvement, I don't think you're going to have much. We can take a vote and take your chance.
Well, the insurance portion, how, does the city have access? Is there somebody that does your insurance? I know we used to partner with the insurance when it was necessary, was for street closures like for the Halloween. And then
But that was through the chamber.
I have learned that from other things in my life that you are far better off. You can get it through CIRSA, but you're going to spend probably 3 to 4 times as much than if you can go online, and there are legitimate insurance out there at very affordable prices. You know.
That's fine. If you can find us where to go,
yeah,
that's,
yeah.
I don't want to make an issue of it for the city.
We don't want it to be uninsured. We just.
It made it easier for us if you took care of it. So.
I'm working on a price right now. So.
Okay.
But that's, just to be straight with you, I can see how it's going, and if you try to get it where the city tries to pick up the insurance or not, I can already read that it's going to be a hard battle uphill. If you want just a street closer, we can try to do a vote on that.
I had to ask if the city
Okay.
could participate in that.
I need a motion on the floor for just the street closure only,
In the event that they can insure.
in the event.
They can insure.
Yeah, that they get insurance somewhere before it'll even close.
Okay.
Boy, it's awful damn quiet. I'm not even getting a motion. Okay.
Okay.
Mayor,
Yeah.
You know, I would feel more comfortable if I had a map that I could see. And
Other than Mike's map?
other than my map,
Oh,
Where's
okay.
the map?
they could draw better, but that's beside the point. And I'm really hesitant to vote on this
3 million, 2 million.
because, you know, I want to be very precise on what I'm voting on. I'm not against it. I think it's a good idea.
Can we get that map back to you that I've drawn?
You know,
Is
I
that
think
clear
that
enough?
we'd all feel more comfortable if each one of us had that map.
Okay, yeah.
So, you know, if we postpone this until our next city council meeting, March 2nd, will that put you guys behind?
Yes.
Yeah, because
We need to get advertising out.
Do some pre-publicity advertising.
How many people are you thinking?
We're hoping to get about 500.
Or 1,000.
Okay, well,
That would be a dream.
500 or 1,000.
well, there's a big difference in cost between 500 and 1,000.
Well, my goal is 1,000.
Oh, Lord.
I'm being realistic at 500. This is the first time, and, you know, we'd like to
When you
see...
inflate your numbers, then that's when your premiums goes
Oh,
up.
yeah,
So
no,
Okay.
Don't
Don't
want to
go high.
inflate, and being your first year unknown,
yeah, and the weather can have everything to do with it. And we never know how it is on the second weekend in April. We're hoping it's going to be beautiful.
But we have indoor spaces for
that's
people.
What I found online, if you have 500 people, it's $248. If you have 800, it's 333, and if you have 1,000,
So how do you know? How can you
it's still
predict?
333.
You have to predict.
Well, you gotta
Before you apply for the
predict.
insurance.
And the insurance understands if you have more success than was expected, next year they won't let you get it for insuring it for only 500 people.
And how much does it cost the city?
That's
Nothing.
probably about, that's
Well,
probably right.
if you got it through us,
I can get a quote and you can come back next meeting, but I
That
don't
doesn't
know
sound-
who.
sound
I don't-
objectionable at all.
I don't know who to write the policy for. There's no organization.
The chamber.
There is.
Well, the
The
chamber
chamber
would
just
have to be
walked out
willing
and said
to
he
be
wasn't.
on that policy. Because what it's
No.
saying is the chamber is insuring the event and we are an additional insured.
well, and with this particular insurance, you can get it for an individual. It doesn't have to be a committee, it doesn't have to, in fact, it can't be a committee. It's got to be a financial unit that is definable. So you can get it for a person, you could get it for the chamber. This doesn't, they don't care necessarily.
Well, we're
that-
using it for a fundraiser for the historic preservation. Can't we go
They
under?
don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care.
Okay. So if you went with 500, you would be just under $250, and it would be your insurance cost. with
Okay,
this.
so
And I
500.
might find better prices than that, but that's what I found so far.
On the fly.
Yeah, on the fly.
But you have to be insured as an individual. You would have to put your name on it.
Or the chamber.
If the chamber, what I'm saying is if the chamber's gonna do it, then the city could co-sponsor you.
The chamber's going, I would want to see the vote. And
Exactly, that's what I'm
everything
saying.
that they
I
said
don't know
that
if they're
gonna-
not ready. I mean,
With the chamber board,
So basically,
we're in this.
what you've got is if somebody here makes a motion that says, and what they're asking, they want to start advertising. They want to be able to advertise for the closure of those particular streets. And
Vendors.
And then you've got till the next meeting to see if you can get a vote of the chamber to say yes. If you get the chamber to say yes, then potentially the council could partner with you.
We had enough votes tonight. We had a special meeting this evening as kind of a workshop, and we had enough votes that we accepted the proposal that Barb had given to us, and that we take over the financial responsibility for the event. So it's under the chamber now. With Barb being
then the city can just,
the chair on the committee that's organizing the actual event, the organizer.
City Council, do you want me to, if the issue is you want to see the map, I can go make copies of the map real fast. If the issue is something else,
What they're asking for right now is just the street closure. That's it. Okay? No city help, just the street closure.
And this would, I'm sorry, and this would be from Saturday 5 a.m., Sunday 7 p.m.?
Saturday, 6 a.m. till Sunday, 7 p.m.
Okay? Now?
Mr. Mayor, I would move for the street closures of Pikes Peak from between Front Street and 115, which is also Main, to Railroad, to include Front Street from Pikes Peak to Union,
Speak to
and
petroleum.
Union from
Pike
Front
Peak.
Street to between Front and 115, which is also Third, am I correct? And this would be from 6 a.m.
they only want to the alleys. They
Yeah,
don't want
just-
all the way to
That would be
115.
halfway.
Halfway, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on
so-
both petroleum and
Yeah,
Pikes.
we got businesses on the front half that would not want to be blocked.
So to clarify, my halfway means between, which would be the alleys. That's what-
And it would be front to petroleum, not front to Union. Front
Okay,
to
my
petroleum,
apologies.
yeah.
So I would amend that to be from Pikes Peak to Petroleum, halfway between Front Street and 115, which is the alley, correct?
No, go, what I would do is go one street at a time. Start with Pikes Peak, from Railroad to the alley halfway between Front and Main Street. That's one. Then the next one is Front Street from Pikes Peak to Petroleum. And then the third is Petroleum from Front Street to the alley halfway between Front Street and Main Street.
As stated.
And I'll second that as stated.
We get
On the-
dates and times on that motion.
Yeah.
Yes, Saturday,
And-
6 a.m., Sunday, 7 p.m., and the dates.
Saturday, April 11th at 6 a.m. to
On the contingency that they get insurance?
As stated.
Okay?
And second as stated.
Okay? Roll call?
Edwards,
Aye.
Filigrana,
Aye.
Martinez,
Aye.
Baker,
Aye.
Mayor Orr.
Aye. Get your insurance, you're on your way.
Thank you very much.
Okay?
Thank you.
That was the biggest uphill battle in a long time.
It's confusing. It's like trying to explain steampunk.
It took a half hour.
Okay, I'm gonna give you that.
Okay, do I have any other visitors in the crowd that would like to come up and talk about anything? We can roll on. Unfinished business. First reading of ordinance 1-2015 vacating 2 alleys and portion of East 4th Street. Mr. Wade, would you talk to us on
Good
this?
evening, I'll be brief. I've given a staff report on this before.
Please.
Just to recap, this is an application from Dick Upton to vacate 4th Street between Florence and Tanner Streets, as well as the alley to the north and the south between 5th and 3rd Street. Brief Planning and Zoning Commission, they didn't really have a problem. No, staff hasn't seen a problem. We asked Mr. Upton to get a surveyor, and he's done what I think is the kind of the gold belt standard vacation plat now, that he's got a surveyor, he's got all the information that we need. It's very clear. It got photocopied in your packet, kind of wavy lines on it, but the actual plat looks very nice. And there's 2 easements. There's a drainage utility easement. It's 30 feet, then 16 feet on the west side of the property, as well as a small easement for the sanitary Fremont Sanitation District on the south end, which actually now gets this building out of a platted street, even though it was built 100 years ago. So this ends up cleaning up the neighborhood, and we recommend approval. The city council approve these vacations. In the future, somebody wanted to come in and redevelop this property, they would come back and re-subdivide, and the Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council would plat a different street pattern, a different development pattern, so losing these streets is not a big deal right at this point because we've already had a development east of Tanner Avenue, so 4th Street could never become a through street again. So we recommend approval. I'd be happy to take any questions. I'd like to thank Mr. Upton for being patient with the
Okay. Yes, he is very patient.
I have a comment.
Okay.
Have you really looked at that legal description, Wade? Because I'm not convinced that, maybe it's right, but I'm not,
The one on here.
the legal description on the plat,
For the vacation, for the easements, or for?
on the exhibit. I'm sorry? I'm fine with the ordinance as it's written, but the legal description on the plat,
For the vacation of the alley or the vacation of the street?
the alleys.
Can we get together and go over your concerns?
Yeah, exactly. What I was going to
Just amend it.
suggest, if the council wants to consider this, that you do it conditional upon my approving the legal description before the ordinance actually gets recorded.
So you say you did go over
Before
it?
second reading?
Oh, this
You know,
is
it-
first reading, isn't
Yeah.
it?
The
Yeah,
surveyor
I'd have an
draws it up, we
opportunity
usually
to-
take their word for it, but I'd be happy to look it over with Brian.
Okay.
Have an opportunity between now and second reading to make sure that I'm okay with it.
Great. Good deal.
So I guess, rather than making it conditional, since this is first reading,
We'll just,
we need to read it anyway. I just move to approve, if that's what you want to do, and then we'll take care of that other business on the back end of this.
All right. Ordinance 1-2015, an ordinance vacating 2 alleys and a portion of East 4th Street as a public road right-of-way, all located in Margot Park, City of Florence. Whereas certain land located in the City of Florence and known as Margot Park was platted in lots and blocks, streets, alleys, and easements, according to the recorded plat thereof on file with Fremont County Clerk and Recorder's Office. And whereas certain owners of the lots located within Margot Park have petitioned the city to vacate 2 alleys and a portion of 4th Street as indicated on the map attached hereto as Exhibit A. And whereas said petitioners represent all owners who own property adjacent to the said alleys and said portion of 4th Street. And whereas said owners have undertaken interior lot line vacations of their individually owned parcels and the city has agreed to vacate said interior lot lines so that no parcel is left without public access once this ordinance becomes law. And whereas pursuant to CRS 432303.3, the city is desirous of obtaining an easement along the westerly boundary of said property for the purposes of drainage and utilities, and is hereby conditions the vacation of said public rights-of-way upon the city's obtaining said easement for the purpose of drainage and utilities. And whereas a public hearing was duly noticed and held on December 15, 2014, before the city council and public comments were heard, hearing was continued to January 5, 2015, and again continued to January 20, 2015. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Florence, number 1, the alley lying entirely within Block 1 Margot Park is hereby vacated. Title to said alley shall vest pursuant to CRS 432302. Number 2, the alley lying contiguous to the northern boundary of Block 5 Margot Park is hereby vacated. Title to said alley shall vest pursuant to CRS 432302. 3, 4th Street bounded by Florence Avenue on the west and Tanner Avenue on the east is hereby vacated as a public right-of-way. Title to said portion of 4th Street shall vest pursuant to CRS 432302. 4, the city reserves all right, title, and interest with respect to a drainage and utility easement along the westerly boundary of said property, including rights of construction, maintenance, and inspection of any and all drainage and utility facilities the city deems necessary and appropriate, such as pipelines, ditches, canals, and other appurtenances that serve the purposes of the easement reserved. There shall be no building of any structures within said easement by any property owner, nor interference of the city's use and enjoyment of said easement for the purposes declared herein. 5, the city has concluded that no property owner shall be divested of access to his or her premises as a consequence of the above vacations.
Okay.
your shot here. I make a motion that we accept, or we approve ordinance number 1, 2015, an ordinance vacating 2 alleys and a portion of East 4th Street as a public road right-of-way, all located in Margot Park, City of Florence, upon approval of the description.
It's the second reading.
Is that right,
First
Mr.
reading.
President?
That's fine, or if you just want to move to approve, since you're looking at it again on second reading, I'll have an opportunity between now and then to analyze it.
Okay, so we'll just go with the approval of the,
Yeah, approval on first reading.
approval on first reading.
Second?
First and second. Roll call, please.
Hildebrand.
Aye.
Baker.
Aye.
Edwards.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
Mayor Orr.
Aye.
Clapping.
Submit to this one still.
Yeah. Which is actually technically related.
Yeah, okay.
It's not more.
New business, the first reading of ordinance 2-2015, authorizing alcohol beverage tasting. And I guess, who's gonna clue us in? Dory, you gonna clue us in? I guess-
I'll read the ordinance for you,
Okay.
Do you want me to?
and then we can discuss. You can read it, I don't care.
I'm not gonna read it.
Oh.
We pretty well
Well,
got
let
an
me read it,
idea
and then
what
we-
Yeah,
it
this
is.
is what you requested us to bring back.
Ordinance 2-2015, an ordinance authorizing alcohol beverage tastings for licensed retail liquor stores and liquor licensed drugstores within the city of Florence. Whereas CRS 1247-30110 requires a municipality to adopt an ordinance allowing tastings within city limits, and whereas tastings for the purposes herein is defined as CRS 1247-103-37.5 as the sampling of malt, vinous, or spirituous liquors that may occur on the premises of a retail liquor store licensee or liquor licensed drugstore licensee by adult patrons of the licensee pursuant to the provisions of section 1247-30110. And whereas the city council deems it appropriate to enact such an ordinance, now therefore be it ordained by the city of by the Florence City Council as follows. 1. A new section designated 5.28010 of the Florence Municipal Code shall read as follows. Alcohol beverage tasting permit. Pursuant to section 1247-30110 CRS and the city authorizes alcohol beverage tasting for licensed retail liquor stores and liquor licensed drugstores within the city. The city shall require an application for a permit prior to allowing retail liquor licensees or liquor licensed drugstore licensees to conduct alcohol beverage tastings, but elects not to impose additional limitations on such tastings beyond those limitations set forth in Chapter 47 of Title 12 CRS. A retail liquor store or a liquor licensed drugstore that wishes to conduct tastings shall submit an application for the tastings permit to the city clerk. The local licensing authority may reject the application if the applicant fails to establish that the licensee is able to conduct tastings without violating any of the provisions of Section 1247-30110 CRS as may be amended. Number 2, a new section designated 5.28020D of the municipal code shall read as follows. For a tastings permit pursuant to section 528.015, $150.
Mr. Edwards?
Yes, I just questioned maybe a definition on CRS 12-47103 on whereas, on the, I believe it's the second, you may call it third paragraph, it says on the premises. To define that, would that be on the property? Or, because there's setbacks and...
It's on the premises which is licensed. So a liquor store is a licensed building. And so it has to be in the building. A drugstore or a liquor store can't get licensed for the parking lot. It has to be in a contained building. On the premises means inside the licensed structure.
Yes, because I was kind of hoping that we was able to open this up like at the park when places come, or
Can't be done.
maybe outdoor, there's,
Could be fenced.
No, you can't do that. The statute is real clear that only owners who are licensed as retail liquor stores or liquor licensed drug stores can hold tastings. Now, the wine fair is something different. But the statute says that if someone wants to do a tastings pursuant to state statute, one, they've got to be licensed as a liquor licensed drugstore or as a retail liquor store. Two, the tastings have got to be conducted on the premises. Three, they've got to come before the city and procure a permit and pay a fee and otherwise abide by the statutory requirements. That's not quite what you all envisioned, I don't think, with steampunk. This doesn't really apply to steampunk.
It never would have applied to steampunk.
Right. But steampunk has solved their own problem another way, which Dory can describe. But you asked us to bring a tastings ordinance before the council. This is what the statute allows us to do, and that's why it was written in this fashion.
so the definition, again, just to clarify for myself, on the premises, so on the property, if somebody had a patio, it could take place on a patio.
Not in a liquor store, you
yes.
don't have a patio
But they
because
may
you
in the
can't
future.
consume it on the premises. In a liquor store, it's for consumption off the premises. Except if they have a tasting.
Yeah, maybe it's the realtor, and the on premises means on property, not
The
interior
premises that's
building.
licensed,
The premises that's licensed.
that's the nexus there.
Well, is this what they're asking for, or is this just something? Yeah, what? Yeah.
Well,
confused here.
council asked for a tastings ordinance. Now we have a tastings ordinance, but it has nothing to do with any event that anybody has ever planned or will have in the city, because it can only be done by certain licensed people.
Well, it could be part of an event if the
Yeah.
winery is part of it. I mean,
It doesn't hurt anything.
Yeah,
That's it. The statute allows cities
That's what we're asking.
to license this kind of activity, and so that's why it's before
But a
you.
winery is a
Okay.
different license. It's a winery.
So this ordinance, we're going to go by, this is the state, the CRS 12-47103 is state, and we cannot amend the state order, our ordinance to.
You could adopt restrictions that are even tighter than those in state statute.
But not less than.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Go out in public.
if you want to, sure.
Okay. Larry, did you have one first? Okay, look, Maury.
Just to help clarify, I think what Dory is trying to say, when you have a liquor license, it's defined by a geographical area. You draw a map and say, this is where my liquor license is. And in a liquor store, it's the perimeter of the outside of the store. And as far as some of the restaurants have, they have the definition of where the restaurant is, the liquor will be served in. They have a definition of where the liquor will be stored at. And if they have a patio out back, that they have to define that and fence it, so it's a closed area that's restricted, which can be measured by the liquor board to see it. If they bring liquor out to the front sidewalk and serve it, they're illegal, even though the premise is closed off.
If you notice, every liquor license application is accompanied by a drawing. And that is the license premise.
Yeah, we seen that.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Edwards.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the first reading of ordinance 2-2015 authorizing alcohol beverage tasting.
Second.
I have the first and second. Is this the first reading or the final?
First.
Just first. Okay. The first and second. Roll call.
Edwards.
Aye.
Baker.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
Villagrana.
Aye.
Miller.
Seems like everything's difficult tonight.
Yeah.
And have the really hard one.
Okay, next one on is the award the bid for the South Reservoir Project Phase 1. Do we need Bill to talk about this one? Who? No? Then who can talk about it?
Well, what we've got before you is a bid, a letter from Richard Farnsworth, from Richard Jackson, thank you, from the Farnsworth Group. And basically, Richard goes through the bids. We received 3 bids on this project, on the South Reservoir Improvement Project, Phase 1. Going through the tabulation, he determined that Avalanche Excavating submitted a bid in the amount of $263,929.32. Moltz Construction submitted a bid of $252,740. RMS Utilities submitted a bid of $259,988. However, there were errors in their bid tabulation, and if you go through and multiply the bid units by the bid quantities, it actually comes up to 451,536. Given the magnitude of the errors in their bid, you probably want to disregard this bid. It's significantly higher than the others.
Yeah.
Then we get down to, it includes, all of the bids had to include a $25,000 contingency for additional scope work that could be required by the state engineer's office. That way it's not some kind of later change order. It could potentially be a reduction if the state doesn't come up with this additional work, but it's anticipated that the state will have some additional requirements. So that was put in there, and each of the bidders included that. Here comes the dilemma here is that Avalanche Excavating has potentially could include the local bidder preference, which is 5%. If you take their $263,929 and you factor in the 5%, that would potentially give them the ability to be considered low bidder. However, the problem with that is when we looked at our ordinance also says that you can only have a maximum of $2,500 allowed for that exception, the local bidder preference. Because the total on this is over $11,000, I believe the city attorney is recommending to us, and staff is therefore also recommending, that we're not able to apply the local bidder preference here because it's more than the $2,500 that's allowed in the.
It's 11,000.
Yeah, and if you look at the last page of this packet, page 154 from our code book, 15.10.020 local preference, you go through that and it discusses the 5%, but then it also, so the last line is, or the last sentence is, this preferential allowance to locally established business firms may not exceed $2,500.
Pretty clear.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty well there if it's in our ordinance. So, what you're asking is then...
Well, the recommendation from the Farnsworth Group, if you look at page 2, and the staff concurs with this, is that the council award the bid to Moltz Construction as low bidder.
Which wasn't really... Yeah, he was the lowest.
He
isn't local, though, it's only different, right?
Well, no, he's not local. He doesn't qualify for the local. Avalanche does, Moltz doesn't. Both wonderful firms. We gladly use either one of them. This is no knock on either one of the firms by no reason at all to criticize either.
It comes down to the $11,000 difference, no matter how you look at it. That's all.
Dr. Dory, have we ever received any money back off of that contingency of $25,000? Or has that always been utilized in completing the whole
The 25.
Paul, this is specific to this project because the state engineer is very concerned about this project and could force some more requirements on it. So it's not usually in these contracts.
Yeah, it's not a specific to any contract that we've ever had.
But we've never dealt with this aspect of this. Thank you.
Okay.
I would,
Any other questions?
Well, we have okay, we take the low bid, right? What happens, they come back with a change order?
That could happen, the state engineer's office, that's why there's a contingency in there.
So we're paying more than what we're doing up in
We
the...
might.
It happens no matter if you took the
Well, this is
low,
only,
the high,
this is
or
only
anything.
phase one of the whole project.
And Richard Saxon, our engineer, understands that we really don't want change orders. That's why he wrote it up this way, so that there would be the extra 25,000 put in the front on the bid, hoping that if anything, we come back with, the only change order would be, hey, state didn't have anything, here's the 25,000 back.
Which
We're
would
obviously
just
really
be
hoping that happens, but
That's what my concern is. Every time we get something, we get a change order.
Well, it happens to everybody.
Every job we went on, the flow and this, and everything else.
It happens a lot.
You open up the ground, you don't know what's
I
there.
understand.
Paul?
did anybody ever take any core samplings of the proposed work area?
Oh, yes.
They've done
We've done all the geotech.
everything in
And
engineering.
there was nothing extraordinary that was found in there?
Well, we did the core sampling, all the geotech was done, so that we know what is wrong, so we can try to fix the reservoir.
that's one that Bill should probably answer. If we want an accurate, I mean, not to
We
say that
paid
Dorian.
a bunch of money for the geotech already.
Hi, to answer your question, we have done core samples. They show that there's a lot of groundwater there, which we figured. And the state's probably gonna want a few more core samples done before we're finished with it, but for phase one, I think we've got all of them.
Is there a lot of clay and perlite inside those core samplings that could cause expansion and contraction?
You know, I don't know, I haven't spoken with Richard or Dwayne,
I have
the Smith Geotech guy, so I don't know what they've got, but they think they can go ahead and do this work with no problem.
Because if there isn't a lot of that, it would include a lot of piling of rock, gravel to stabilize that. So, you know,
Well-
it's something to look at.
Yeah, the problem is rock makes water flow,
Yeah.
so the state will be
That way
what,
it's contracting and expanding, and it's my understanding that most of southern Colorado is clay and perlite.
well, I'm sure that's true. But, you know, the state will probably determine what we put in there. We don't really have much say in that, really.
Thank you.
We have a copy of the core samples, what they found so far, in Dory's office if any councilors want to come and read that as well.
You're welcome to come look at it.
Good,
Mel?
Just, Mr. Mayor, I'd move to award the bid for the South Reservoir Project Phase 1 to Moltz Construction at the amount of $252,740.
Okay.
Second.
We have a first and second. Any further discussion on this matter? Okay, roll call, please.
Edwards?
Aye.
Baker?
Aye.
Martinez?
Aye.
Filigrana?
Aye.
Mayor Orr?
Aye. Richard here tonight? No. Huh? Okay.
Richard's not here.
Because it says task order number 54A, Farnsworth, additional scope of work to South Reservoir. And were you going to explain that, or Richard? 'Cause it says-
Richard, yeah, I thought Richard would be here to explain.
Well, that's the task order. It's explained right there.
This is, before you, you have the task order. The specific project is the South Reservoir Site Exploration and Phase 1 Design and Bidding. an additional scope per the state engineer's office. Quickly going through this, the purpose of this task order is to coordinate all of the planned work within the scope and to obtain Rule 5 approvals, which I will have to ask somebody else to tell me what Rule 5 approvals means, from the state engineer's office. This includes a full design report, hydraulics rating, curves, tables, and collecting more detailed reservoir characteristics. The second part of this is to prepare design drawings and specifications for the construction of seepage monitoring wear box at the toe of reservoir number 2, butterfly valves, and 24-inch dip bypass pipe serving reservoir number 1. This includes cost-benefit analysis of different bypass options, including manholes with stop logs, slide gates, plug and all. And the third is to coordinate the geotechnical borehole adjacent to the replacement vault due to the excavation depth exceeding 20 feet. He also has a scope of services for the design report and a scope of services for the drafting. Nothing at this point under construction. That would be seen as a future task. Smith Geotechnical Consultants are the subcontractors, and the state engineer's office has required that for quality assurance. The services of the engineer are listed up above in Part B and C. Our responsibility, of course, is to review the documents and to pay the application fee of $600. The time for rendering the services is listed there before you, although, well, actually, you see it, the bid opening period and so on and so forth. So, Richard, basically, he's proposing a fee of $27,910 with monthly intermediate payments based on percentage of engineering services completed. That's what you have before you there.
Question?
Yes.
Okay, now, they're using a subcontractor, this, as consultants. And I'm just trying to clarify this, the figure, $27,910, did that include any of the Smith Geotechnical Consultants?
We pay those separately.
We pay those separately, okay.
And we do that so that it's completely separate from any contractor or engineer. It's completely independent.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
That
And
way
have we
there-
paid, we didn't get a bill yet on that, have we?
Yes.
Or did we pay it? I don't remember signing a check. Well, it was a cash deal. No.
There may be an incidental one coming because the state's going to require more.
All right, well, I know, I just wanted to clarify if that fee was included in the 27.
Paid separately.
Okay.
Paul?
Mike, I don't really know what you're telling, but did we get an estimate of what your monthly intermediate payments?
They come, when you do the bills, he bills us what he did that month. Basically, he's done this work. He's already done this work.
This is what 54A is what he's already done. But for 55, the next one, he broke down, and you see his hour, passed out before you there, there's a sheet, the color sheet. You see what Richard's hourly rate is, what Glenn's hourly rate is, Jack, Dave, breaks down all the subtotals for the project, those types of things. So he did break it down for us on the next one. The rates are going to be the same. Richard's hours were the same for 50, well, the same rate, so on and so forth. So he broke those all down for us in 55, but it's relevant to 54A in that it gives you the same ratio of hours and how he breaks it down. 55 is a little more than double the 54A, but it's a similar breakdown.
Construction side.
Yeah, it's the whole construction side on 55. But basically, he's broken it down for us, and these are pretty standard engineering rates. We had a discussion with Richard last month about rates and about wanting to avoid change orders and all those kind of things. We feel pretty good about where we are with Richard in terms of his responsiveness to us. But that said, he works for us and we work for you. So,
I wish we was working for that.
You know, I really respect Mr. Saxon, and I'm really very, very happy that we got this, because now I kind of halfway understand what's going on with when he comes in and he does his work, and I'm very appreciative of that. So thank you for giving that to us.
Larry?
I'll make a motion
Okay.
that we approved task order number 54A to pay Farnsworth Group in the amount of $27,910 for services rendered in the past.
Second.
Who was the second?
Martinez.
Okay, roll call.
Baker?
Aye.
Martinez?
Aye.
Edwards?
Aye.
Villagrana?
Aye.
Mayor Orr?
Aye. Okay, task order number 55, Farnsworth Construction Phase South Reservoir.
Okay, this is actually pretty easy. This is what you did under the bid approval for the South Reservoir project, and then what you did under the task order 54A, same rates, et cetera, the breakdown on this sheet. This is the construction phase, construction management, administration, et cetera, including the pre-construction conference and all those things for this project that you've already approved.
Okay,
I'll make a motion
go ahead.
for task order number 55 for services rendered by the Farnsworth Group in the amount of, where'd the amount go?
Second page.
Second page.
Bottom.
Bottom. Oh, yes, $57,000.
Did we get that?
Record it.
I think we lost the number on the recording.
Oh, on the motion that was presented to be passed, the amount is $57,000.
And I second.
Okay, we have first and second. Roll call, please.
Baker?
Aye.
Villagrana?
Aye.
Edwards?
Aye.
Martinez?
Aye.
Mayor Orr?
Aye.
5 ayes.
Okay. Flip on over.